Scott Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Great to have you with us. By the way, we just found out that it was Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish that ESPN concentrate only on sports and never say another word about anything political. So,
wow.
Yeah, I think that's going to be done now because you can't go against a dying wish. And we found out, she just said that as her dying wish.
Well, that's good to know.
According to some reports.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's out there now. So they can't do it anymore at ESPN. I want it to stop. By the way, I guess we lead with our mistakes, right? Even though Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish actually led the show. But the very next thing is our mistake yesterday on the Biden Telemundo. Maria Telemundo. Manawa Niarawa.
That's good. No, that's good stuff.
So Biden's looking over to the left. We thought he was looking at a teleprompter.
And this was reported everywhere, by the way.
Yeah.
Like this.
So it wasn't just us, but still.
Yeah.
I wish we would have seen the whole thing first because it's kind of obvious afterwards that he's looking at the monitor. Can we show the whole thing?
Yeah.
So here it is. He's looking at the monitor as somebody's asking a question.
Actually, when we announced that we were going to be speaking with you, Telemundo viewers were interested in asking you questions, and I think it'd be great if they
Sure, I'd be happy to.
address you and ask some of the first questions. And
Can you
here's
look
the
in
first
here?
one. Yeah.
Noticias. Telemundo.
Señor Biden, usted y Obama son
Mr. Biden, you and Obama are responsible for a
he's watching a tape.
record-breaking number
So
of
he's
immigrants being
watching
deported.
a video.
How can you guarantee us that this will not continue happening in our communities?
It took much too long to get it right.
He's talking
By the way,
That's
we
the
can't
fact.
guarantee anything
Period.
in your community.
Number one.
There's no guarantees in
Number
life.
two, but
no guarantees.
compared to where we
By the
are
way,
today, and look,
Can you
where
pause
are.
this for a second? He's talking to a paused video right now.
Yes, I love that.
Let's point that out.
That.
The video pauses. She's done talking, and he's staring right at the monitor, talking to her. Like that.
Which again,
This is why he says, "I
shows
lost her.
Some cognitive. Yeah, right.
I lost the line."
Right. Yeah. Hey, did you know we paused a person, Joe? Is that what you're thinking? We actually paused a person.
And watch, he keeps talking, and then at one point he goes,
I lost her.
I lost the line.
I lost the line.
and that's what he thought he was connected to her live.
But we thought he was looking at the monitor for the questions, to answer the questions. He wasn't.
And who knows, though?
wasn't.
Maybe they
But,
put up some
I don't
words
know.
for him after the video. We
It's
have no
possible.
idea.
Don't put anything past him, but it wasn't what we thought it was,
Yeah.
which kind of pisses me off.
Yeah. But still.
Because what we thought it was absolute proof.
Yeah.
Because you know he does. You know he uses a monitor
Oh, that's right. Totally.
during interviews. You know he does.
How many times? Remember now, his own staff has been asked, does he use a teleprompter during interviews? And they refuse to answer. And we know that he has.
Right, exactly. And his spokesperson was so pissed off when Brett Baer asked about it and so indignant. Oh, I'm not going to even qualify that with an answer. Okay, whatever.
But remember that. I mean, you had the reflection that you brought in, the reflection in the
Oh,
thing,
right.
right? And we had where he said, move it up.
Yes.
For an answer he was trying to give
Yes.
to someone just like this, a taped
So,
thing.
I mean, there's still a ton of evidence.
Absolutely there is, but yeah.
By the way, we just got notification. It was Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish that we stop the COVID-19 lockdowns and mask-wearing madness. It was her dying wish. Stop the madness, she said.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah. According to some reports from family members that were there.
Some reports.
Yeah. Some reports said that it was her dying wish. And so I think we should. I think we should stop the madness.
Right. And if you do
I think we should.
If you see someone that isn't in compliance with one of these ridiculous authoritarian, I can't even say it. Authoritarian mandates that are just an
Oh my
infringement.
gosh.
Yeah.
We got to get into some of those.
Yes. Rob found a hotline that you can call. It was right there if you see someone not wearing a mask.
Okay, 867-5309. That's an easy number to remember because it was Jenny's.
You call that?
It was Jenny's number. And
I mean, you want to add your local area code.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Obviously, it'll be ridiculous.
I use that number. I can't tell you how often. several times a week at the grocery store. 867-5309. 817-867-5309.
Again, someone needs to cash in these points.
I know.
Because you might have a new car waiting for you.
I know.
If you're the person that goes in and go, you know what? I want to apply whatever credits I have for 867-5309.
I wonder who's the person who really has that account.
No, it doesn't matter. Like, you just say that you're them.
Yeah.
In fact, I need to make a note here.
Here for my points.
Let's see. So and report back. See how it goes. See what kind of discount you get.
I don't know that you get any points, though, at Kroger. Do you get any points?
Yeah, man. That's how you get gas.
Oh, okay.
That's how you get cheap fuel.
True.
That's how I got when the price of gas tanked down and I applied my Kroger points.
Mm-hmm.
I tweeted out a picture of it a long time ago. I think I got gas for literally 25 cents that day, a gallon.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that was fun. That was a good day. And I had to fill up. I think it was less than $5 to fill up my trunk. I like it.
Yeah, that's, I mean, so somebody can claim those points. 867-5309. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. All right, so we took care of the Biden mess. There are many other messes, like in Ohio. What is going on in Ohio with the arrests over not wearing a mask? I'm not sure if we have the video ready yet.
I think that is one that we're still waiting for.
Okay.
Last I heard.
Of course, because we were just about to go to it.
Now, we do have the Idaho one. Do you want that? Because it's happening everywhere now.
This is Moscow, Idaho. Mm-hmm. Moscow, Idaho. The home of the Vandals.
How ironic, right?
University of Idaho Vandals. Mm-hmm. In Moscow, Idaho, they're making arrests because people were singing without a mask.
No.
Always trust in chariots and others trust in
Guy's not fighting. He's not resisting. Completely complying.
You know what?
Here, this is a good indication for people on how not to get a beat down or shot in the back 7 times.
You know why they picked him out of the crowd? Because
he's running against one of the city council members or the mayor, something to that effect, right?
Yep.
City council.
Yeah, they picked out. See, nobody has a mask on, but they only picked out a few of them to arrest, and he's one of them.
Jeez. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at all the people without masks. So that is the reason they're detaining him?
Properly social distancing and not wearing masks.
Why are they outside singing? What is that about?
I guess to make a point. Hey, look,
about masks?
Yeah, we're going to get together.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we don't do this to BLM, guys. Yep.
Oh, nice. That's a great point.
Yep.
I mean...
But it's not like they've been doing anything.
Right.
And doing this kind of crap for the mayor, this is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
You guys are stronger than this. You're more
shouldn't be doing this.
You guys are tough people. This is wrong. You're a cop.
This is wrong. But I love how calm they are and how polite they are. They're just telling them, this is wrong. This is, it's un-American. And you guys are better than this.
Madness, man.
It is madness.
Madness.
Wait till we show you the other one in Ohio with the woman who drives. Didn't she drive an hour and a half?
Yeah, she wanted to see her seventh grade
son's
play
football game
in another town.
And she's sitting there in the stands.
Yeah.
And a cop approaches her. Doesn't, as far as you can tell, doesn't give her a warning. Doesn't really say, okay, you have the right, you can leave right now. He just starts attacking her and trying to cuff her immediately, and winds up tasing her, handcuffing her, and then they drag her out of the stands because she's not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Not wearing a mask.
Stick around for that, because you see the singing there. Just think about that. It just seems like such a normal Americana situation.
No, but you're spitting all over the place.
You're spitting all over the place, right? But it just seems like it.
Spitting all over the place.
And then you mix in these wonderful measures of dragging people away in handcuffs.
Love it.
And by the way, congratulations. Someone made me aware. Norman, Oklahoma. There's now a mandate in your town if you have a large crowd at your house on your personal private property. If they're not wearing masks, you too could be hauled off to the pokey.
Oh, so they'll kick down your door and drag you out of your own home That'll be great. If you're not wearing a mask, that's perfect.
Seems reasonable, right?
It seems perfectly. It seems totally American.
If you don't push back right now, it's
over.
Your new America.
Seriously, over. I mean, America is over if we don't push back on this. You can't arrest people for not wearing a mask.
It's happening.
When did this start in America? We've heard about this all over the world, but not here. I mean, they were doing this in Canada. They were doing this in Australia. They were doing it in Europe. But we weren't arresting people for not wearing a mask before. Now, all of a sudden, we're arresting people for not wearing a mask? As the stupid virus is getting actually weaker and less virulent, now we're arresting people for not wearing a mask.
Don't challenge their power, man.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Of course, we say that all the time.
Here we go.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Believe it. And if people don't start standing up and pushing back, this is going to be the way it is.
It is. We'll play that. We'll play that for you because it's amazing. It's amazing. The video from Ohio. Also, last night, speaking of this not being America anymore, because of the ruling by the Kentucky grand jury that they only indicted one of the Louisville police officers. Two of them were not indicted. One of them was, and he was indicted not because of shooting Breonna Taylor, but he shot into another apartment. So, of course, there's rioting again in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, the Breonna Taylor shooting is interesting because they were shot at. In fact, one of the police officers was actually shot. Now, they kicked down the door in one of those no-knock warrant things, which we can talk about whether or not that's appropriate. I don't think it is. Maybe they should stop doing that, and we wouldn't have problems like this. But it was a legal no-knock warrant. They busted in. They were shot at. They returned fire, and Breonna Taylor was killed. That had nothing to do with race. That had nothing. They didn't even know the race of the people that were shooting at them. They had no idea. They shot through the door. There was a wall and a door between them. Had no idea. They're black, white, red, brown, purple. They didn't know. So that's why they weren't indicted. They returned fire after one of the officers was shot. So 2 police officers were shot in Louisville, Kentucky last night. I think they're both in stable condition today. So hopefully they're not. Their lives are not threatened at this particular point.
And these were spontaneous, right? These were just reactions to
just a spontaneous, grassroots response to what happened. Yes. Well, that and there was some U-Haul deliveries of riot supplies. To Louisville. There's the U-Haul. And let's see, what are they taking out of the U-Haul? Abolish the police. Gigantic abolish the police sign that was already pre-done for them.
Ready-made signs.
Abolish the pole ice? Is that why was there... Why was there parentheses around ice in police?
Immigration and customs?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, but all these people happen to know that the U-Haul delivery is there.
What else is in that truck?
Riot gear.
Oh.
Yeah, they had some riot gear, like the police have.
For the spontaneous...
Yes, grassroots.
Grassroots.
Display of, just protests. They're just protests.
Peaceful. Mostly peaceful.
Thank you. Mostly peaceful. Now, CNN, well, here's how they described it.
Alex, you have been marching with the protest.
Although this wasn't in Louisville. This was in D.C. last night. So, I mean, riots broke out all over the country again, and CNN was in Washington, D.C.
Alex, you have been marching with the protesters. What are you seeing? What are you hearing from these protesters?
I love this description. Check this out.
What are they saying about this verdict?
Well,
Don, we've been marching with these protesters from the White House for about an hour, and I got to tell you, just since you got on the air in the last few moments, this has taken a turn for a much more violent march. I just want...
Okay, keep that in mind. It's taken a turn for a much more violent march.
Adelpho to turn around here. This is the line of riot police. Until now, we have not seen police in this kind of gear, and that has really indicated that there has been a significant escalation in just the last few moments. Now, the protesters have started going down this way in response. It's unclear what prompted this police response. Until now, I'm not going to say it's been peaceful, but it hasn't quite been violent.
Well, wait a minute. You just said it was much more violent. Now you're going to say it. Then he caught himself. Wait a minute. I'm not supposed to say it's violent. So I'm not going to say it's peaceful because it isn't, but I'm not going to say it's violent either. Oh, okay.
Adolfo, follow me down here. Since leaving the White House, where it was a quiet, somber, more peaceful march, these protesters, scores of them have been marching through some of the nicer parts of D.C., through neighborhoods where there are restaurants and bars and apartments, chanting all sorts of things, anti-gentrification slogans, anti-police slogans.
Anti-gentrification
some have
slogans.
Been banging on street signs with batons and bats. Fireworks have been fired off. We've seen graffiti sprayed on a variety of buildings, and even seen an Antifa flag clearly being flown
Antifa
and waved
is there?
at the front of the march. We are now at the back of the march. Again, Don, we started with this march at the White House about an hour ago. We are now in Adams Morgan.
I see.
There had, until about 5 minutes ago, not been any confrontation with the police allowing this crowd to essentially go wherever they wanted to escort them. You can see here they're policemen on bikes. They are not in riot gear. But Don, as you know, there is a point, usually in these protests, where you wonder which way is it going to go. Is it going to stay peaceful?
You do wonder?
Or relatively quiet, which it had been? Or is it going to get violent, which we have just seen indications of? For now, this crowd continuing to walk through Adams Morgan here in Washington, D.C., Don.
So right where you are now, I mean, it doesn't look particularly violent. It does look like there's...
Don breaks in to make sure that once again we say it doesn't look particularly violent. Right? He's got to make that point once again.
Chaos there, Alex.
It is chaos, but it's not
Is
violent.
there a stronger presence of police or response from police? Talk to me about that.
Talk to him about it.
Yeah, it had been
Alex.
much stronger, and the reason that it looks quieter is frankly because the march had moved on as the police moved in. The police were chanting "move back," and move back they did. The crowd certainly has shown no sign of dissipating or going home. They are just moving on. They did not engage with the police. We did see one young man.
Guy's completely out of breath.
I was going to say he is out of shape.
Yeah, first of all, he's walking with the protesters, but secondly, he's wearing a freaking mask.
Oh no!
Which makes it a little harder to breathe.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
he doesn't want to get arrested. I mean, the Antifa is not going to get arrested, but you don't wear a mask.
Right, he could.
Game over.
Exactly.
And I believe taken into custody. But other than that, there have not been violent altercations with the police. The police are not wearing gas masks, which is usually a sign that they, at least for now, are not planning on firing tear gas. But
take yours off.
I'm going to lay down for a minute, Don. I'm wearing this mask, and it's suffocating me right now.
Protesters themselves, as we left the White House, they did start putting on helmets and goggles.
Okay.
And start talking about keeping a tight group. And frankly, talking about marching tactics. So it's clear, at least, they thought there was a possibility that things could turn violent. We'll certainly see where that goes. For now, the march is continuing. Don?
All right. Alex Marquardt, we'll get back to you. Alex, stay safe.
But again, Alex, it's mostly peaceful, right? I mean, we want to make that clear. It's mostly peaceful.
I mean, just listen to that guy wears me out, you know?
Sit down. Sit down for a minute.
Somebody get that reporter a bottle of water or something,
Take off the stupid mask while you're doing the report, for the love of heaven. All right, let me tell you about Keeps. If you notice that your hair is starting to thin out, or maybe you've even got some bald spots going on now, especially in the back of your head, there is something you could do about it. You don't have to go to the doctor and get a hair loss treatment prescription, then go to the pharmacy, spend a fortune trying to get the name brand prescription. Instead, go online, do this at home, and take care of it all at keeps.com/Pat. Go there, answer a few questions, snap some pictures of your hair. Then a licensed doctor reviews all your information and recommends the right hair loss treatment for you. And they'll prescribe the generic version, which saves you about 50%. So don't make an unnecessary trip to the doctor and then the drugstore when you can do it all from home. Plus, we'll get you started with a special deal. Go to keeps.com/Pat, KEEPS.com/Pat, and you'll get 50% off your first order of Keeps hair loss treatment. 50% off your first order. Keeps.com/Pat. That's keeps.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Okay, so the police weren't in riot gear in Washington, D.C., but they certainly were in Louisville, Kentucky last night because things were ugly there. After the grand jury did not indict 2 of the 3 officers involved in the shooting of Breonna Taylor. And again, we should mention that the police deny that it was a no-knock warrant. Now, I think that it's the boyfriend of Breonna Taylor said it was no-knock. He said, but they deny that. Anyway, we should look into whether or not you should do the busting into people's home in the middle of the night thing. Just for the safety of the officers as well as the people involved inside the house. In case you're in the wrong place or there's nothing going on there. Apparently these 2 were asleep, right, in the middle of the night, or at least in bed in the middle of the night. So that's one that is something that I think you could revisit. 888-900-3393. But when you start returning fire through a door, you don't know, first of all, the race of the people inside. And secondly, you're not going to ask a lot of questions once people start shooting you through the door. So they were firing through the door, and then the police fired through the door. Nobody knew the race of the other people involved in the shootout. So the riot has erupted again. A U-Haul shows up and starts dispensing riot gear to the protesters. Who's funding that? Who's paying for the riot gear? Who's paying for the U-Haul? Who's paying for all the signage that they took out of it? The gigantic signs that they pulled out of the back of that U-Haul. What is going on here? And why isn't CNN looking at that?
Oh, God. Yeah. Sure.
Whether they're mostly peaceful protests or not, somebody is outfitting the protesters with signage and riot gear. And I don't know, maybe you could look into it. So there were 2 police officers shot last night. There was a police officer hit in the head with a metal baseball bat. Fortunately, take a look at this. Fortunately, he had a pretty good protective helmet on, it seems. Watch this. So the police officer's been knocked down on his bike. Somebody comes up behind him and beats him in the head with a baseball bat. But it didn't look like it fazed him too much because he had a helmet on. Although that, you could still have a concussion from that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he didn't have that helmet on, that guy could have been killed with that shot the guy just took at him. Just walked up behind him and swung the baseball bat full speed, hit him right in the back of the head. Nothing happened to him. The cop just left, took off.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to get hit again. And it looked like he just had pepper spray with him.
These scenes are becoming way too frequent in this country.
I mean, nobody's suffering the consequences, or very few are suffering the consequences for these attacks on police and innocent bystanders.
But to the guy who swung the baseball bat's credit, he was wearing a face covering.
Right, he was.
So he was social distant. He was properly...
And he had riot gear on.
Sure.
I mean, look at that again. The guy who walks up behind him looks like it might be one of the police officers because he's outfitted in riot gear. Watch this. Boom. Yeah, he's got a gas mask on. Looks like he might have a flak jacket on.
Thank God that helmet is what
I
it
know.
is.
I know. Unbelievable. Because that's a chilling scene where the cop could have been killed. He could have had his skull split open right there. And they don't care. They just don't care. We've got another little altercation, a little get-together from Antifa protesters in Denver, Colorado. I mean, this was taking place all over the country last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's just refired this whole thing. The decision of the grand jury in Louisville has sparked it everywhere.
It doesn't matter what the grand jury said.
That's true.
They were there to riot regardless.
And they're telling us about it. I mean, these are opportunists just taking advantage of the situation right now to bring about massive change in the United States of America and to bring down this country. Here is some Antifa douchebag on the streets of Denver talking about sedition.
Everything else.
And a crowd is gathered and cheering him.
Some of you guys are lucky enough that it didn't take you over. So you're out here doing the only thing you know how to do. Just fight back. Woo! We need to take back.
Woo! Yeah!
Every aspect of our lives. We know if we go toe-to-toe, we may be outgunned. We don't have the tactics or the weapons to fight these cops toe-to-toe. It would end in tragedy. Yeah! We got the passion! But guess what?
What?
You throw sand in the gear, it slows down, sometimes it exposes something. This is a resistance. This is a revolution.
Oh.
And it's going to take all
Fascinating. It's a resistance. It's a revolution. I mean, is there any doubt anymore what's going on here?
It starts here. It really begins when you're not side by side with a homie with a shield. It starts when there's no umbrellas. It is just you and someone else that needs help.
Jeez.
And a cop. And you tell that pig that you're going to hold him accountable. Because you know for damn sure the pigs ain't holding themselves accountable. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I believe that's some white douchebag as well.
We need mutual aid. We help our own communities. Because we know they are helping us.
Just a revolutionary.
The system isn't helping us.
Some anarchist.
We don't just need to change these cops.
All right. It's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, or anybody else who's been killed by police or has been brutalized in some way by Whitey. Has nothing to do with that. These are just revolutionaries, and they're opportunists, and they see a chance, and they're going for it right now. It's really chilling.
Yeah, and you asked the question, who paid for that U-Haul that was unloading a bunch of fun riot gear and signs and stuff like that? And a lot of blogs are reporting that an individual who is driving that truck is connected to the Bail Project, which is apparently has ties with, guess who?
George Soros.
Oh, wow, what does he win?
Just
Check
right
it
out of the blue. Just bang.
Yeah, I love this, though.
Wow.
Yeah,
the Bail Project. Oh, they've raised a lot of money. I mean, didn't Kamala Harris try to get people to
that's right.
contribute to that fund?
Yeah, and I love this. This lady, Holly Zoller, who they're saying was the driver. If you look her up, she is the founding organizer and board member of Louisville Books to Prisoners, a nonprofit organization aimed at putting books into the hands of people living behind bars. And she also coordinates volunteers for Food Not Bombs, which is another fun group.
Wonderful. Food Not Bombs.
Food Not Bombs.
That's great.
Yeah. So, but before all this, all of her activism aside, she also used to own a gardening company.
Oh, how beautiful.
Holly Zoller.
Isn't that wonderful? That's great.
Wonder what kind of plants
Food
she
Not
grew.
Bombs. You know what's lovely about these, all these peacefully named organizations? They're almost always communists.
Right.
Almost always communists.
So
Food Not Bombs.
Oh, so you're for bombs? Actually, in certain circumstances, yes.
Yes. Every once in a while, yes. All right.
Not bombs.
Glenn had a great special again last night. Speaking of revolution, the Revolution Playbook. We're going to play some clips from that next. Pat Gray Unleashed. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter.
You're going to give that lady a complex that introduces you. Keep picking on her.
All right. All hell broke loose again last night. The grand jury returned no indictments for the cops on the Breonna Taylor situation. They did return an indictment for one of the cops, but it was for some separate. He was shooting into another apartment.
Right, like wantonly or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. So up to 5 years in prison is what he could get.
So because it had nothing to do with Breonna Taylor, they're really saying nobody's paying the price for that.
Mm-hmm.
And should they? I don't know. You can't even consider the circumstances now. You can't even say, well, wait a minute. You know, one of the cops got shot, right? When they went into the building, one of the cops was shot in the leg, so they returned fire. I guess that doesn't matter. None of the circumstances matter. Whether or not it was justified doesn't matter. Just same thing with the shooting of the is it Jacob Blake, who walked around his car, who already fought with police, who already who was tased twice, got up, disregarded their orders, walked around the car, opened the door, got into the car, and then they shot him.
He was completely ignoring their orders.
Completely ignoring.
He wasn't at the grocery store picking out fruit in the produce section. He was violating an order where he was supposed to stay away from his girlfriend who he allegedly raped.
And nobody pays attention to any of those circumstances. Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Then on the other hand, what city was it in when those two police pull over the guy and I think he'd been drinking, and they were trying to get him out of his car. White guy tried to get him out of his car, and they talked to him for 8 minutes trying to convince him to step out of the car. Please, sir, step out of the car. And he wouldn't do it. Step out of the car. Sir, we're going to have to tase you. So they tased him. And then they tased him again. And then they tried to drag him out of the car. And then he produces a gun. He reaches back into the car. Now, I don't know if he got the gun when he reached back inside the car or if he had it in his pants. I don't know. But he shot both officers and killed one of them. So should they have taken deadly force measures before they did? Yes, I think so. The tasing wasn't enough. It wasn't effective. It didn't do anything to the guy, or very little, not enough to render him incapacitated. And so one of them paid the ultimate price for that. But you can't consider that. Again, that doesn't matter. So now we've got people marching through the streets talking about burning everything down. They didn't get what they want, so burn it down. In fact, they said exactly that. We didn't get it, burn it down. Here they are with that chant. We didn't get it, burn it down. We didn't get it, burn it down. Burn it down! Wow. Burn it down! Also, BLM shooting at Louisville police last night. In fact, 2 cops were shot, but here's BLM members, protesters shooting at police.
Here they come. Oh, they shot guns at him. Oh, they're shooting guns at him, real guns.
Wow.
They're blasting at the police.
They're blasting at the police. God.
Just part of the revolution. As they were saying on the streets of Denver last night, it's a revolution. It's an insurrection. It's a revolution. Glenn's TV special, pretty timely. The Revolution Playbook. And part of that playbook is that impeachment and that whole process started even before the inauguration.
Before he was even sworn in as president, Eisen collaborated with David Brock, head of Media Matters, on written strategy on how to remove Donald Trump. Right at the top of page 50 of their action plan, they write, The progressive infrastructure groups we've built together were started long before Hillary Clinton ran for president. They were always intended to be the first line of defense and offense when we are under siege, end quote. Wow. You catch that? They're already establishing that Donald Trump's legitimate election put the nation under siege. It's also disturbing that their first line of defense and offense is not voters, not you, not better ideas, not a better agenda. It's their infrastructure groups that they have built.
Wow. And again, this is just opportunism. They're just taking advantage of the situation right now.
Yeah, they've been organizing. They've been ready. They've just been waiting for a spark.
This has been in the planning stages for a long time. And there are 7 pillars of this revolution. Here's Glenn talking about pillar number 4, falsified voting results.
You know, if you hammer home the idea every day for 4 years that Trump is wildly unpopular, and he does stuff too that people don't like all the time, well, it helps you create the perception that he could not possibly win a legitimate election, which helps you develop the 4th pillar on the list, an ability to quickly drive home the point that voting results were falsified. Recently, Democrats spent a couple of weeks flooding the airwaves with conspiracy theories that President Trump is going to sabotage the U.S. Postal Service with cutbacks, closing facilities so they can't deliver all the mail-in ballots in time, and the kids and no Santa, and we're all going to be crying, oh, I want my broken toy. Anytime Trump has been critical of mail-in voting, the left immediately frames it as voter suppression. It all seems to be part of the groundwork to deny any positive election result for the president.
I will say, occasionally the president is not helpful in that regard. And I will say one of those times came yesterday when he was asked this question.
Win, lose, or draw in this election, will you commit here today for a peaceful transferal of power after the election? And there has been rioting in Louisville. There's been rioting in many cities across this country, red and your so-called red and blue states. Will you commit to making sure that there is a peaceful transferal of power after the election?
Well, we're going to have to see what happens. You know that I've been complaining very strongly about the ballots, and the ballots are a disaster.
I understand that, but people are rioting. Do you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transferal of power?
We want to get rid of the ballots, and you'll have a very we'll have a very peaceful. There won't be a transfer, frankly. There'll be a continuation.
Right.
The ballots are out of control. You know it. And you know who knows it better than anybody else? The Democrats know it better than anybody else. Go ahead.
Okay. So that kind of spurs it just flames the fire. It just sparks more of a fire than was already burning. And now it's burning out of control. I will say this. You know, he does talk about the problems with the ballots being mailed out to people and then the mailing it back, even if they didn't request it. So everybody's going to have this form. Well, police in Greenville, Wisconsin just found 3 trays of mail, including absentee ballots, in a ditch. This is what the president is talking about.
It's just another isolated.
The Outagamie County Sheriff's Department discovered the trays in a ditch on Tuesday morning near Appleton International Airport. The mail was returned to the U.S. Postal Service, and an investigation is underway. But voting by mail is so smooth; it's going to be fantastic. Now, I know he's trying to make that point, but when you say that we'll see about a peaceful transferal of power,
yeah, can you just say yes?
Just say
we will
yes.
be peaceful,
right?
But there's going to be a lot going on.
Right.
Democrats have already talked about challenging everything in court.
Yes.
You have ballots showing up in ditches in Wisconsin,
which you could mention.
Yeah, you've got states like Pennsylvania saying we give you 3 days to count the votes. To accept ballots.
In Michigan, they're saying 14 days.
14 days in Michigan.
14. That's 2 weeks after the election.
So let me assure you, reporter guy or whoever was asking the question, yes, peaceful, absolutely, it's the American way, But there's going to be a lot of unanswered questions on election night. And it could take a very long time to sort through this mess.
There's just a better way to put it. There's a better way to go about it. And he's just not skilled in that area. You know, he's skilled at going back at people and not taking crap from anybody. But he's not skilled really at the explanation of, look, the mail-in ballot thing is a real issue. It's an issue. And here are the stories to prove it. It's not that hard, really. It's really not that hard. Glenn also on his special last night talked about Trump not being the autocrat, that Biden really is the autocrat.
Why on earth, they wonder? Why won't the president declare a national mask mandate? Well, I don't know, because it's not allowable in the Constitution. Isn't forcing every citizen to wear a mask exactly what an autocratic ruler would do? Answer, yes. Trump has resisted the kind of heavy-handed responses that the pandemic has given the Democratic governors. They're embracing without flinching, and they're criticizing him for not being autocratic. Naturally, they get praised for it, while Trump is being blamed for the death of 200,000 Americans. That is the definition of insanity. By the way, Joe Biden now says that if he's president, he believes he has the authority to create a national mask mandate somewhere in the good and plenty clause of the Constitution, he's sure. Autocratic for me, but not for thee. Come on, man.
Which brings us back to people being arrested for not wearing a mask, which is already happening. We don't even have to wait for Biden. It's already happening in local jurisdictions. Like this one in Ohio we were telling you about. Here's the woman, traveled an hour and a half to see her son play football, 7th grader. She's sitting in the stand. She's not around really anybody except her friend who is wearing a mask, by the way.
Oh, she's with her family, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, okay.
Friend or family member.
People
I don't
that
know.
she would be quarantined with. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. And she doesn't happen to be wearing a mask. And watch how quickly this develops.
Yep. He just shows up.
There's the cop.
Get your hands
And he's already
off
grabbing
me.
at her. I mean, he spent, 2 seconds before he started grabbing at her?
And her kids get to watch this, by the way.
Yeah.
Right there. Their mom is being roughed up, quite frankly.
For not wearing a mask.
Look at that.
And look, should you comply with the officer? Yeah, but for an American...
He doesn't give her a chance to.
Right.
Look at this.
And for an American to be arrested or be threatened with arrest for not wearing a mask.
And when you go to these games to see your kids play, you're talking with the other parents every time. You know them. You get to know them. And to see this guy right here, closest to the camera, arms folded.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Just whatever. I mean, come on, man. Are you for real? He's cool with it, I guess.
And I like the school official or whoever he is in the purple shirt there. So he's probably the one that called the cops to get her out of there.
And listen to this. You have the football whistle, the referee's whistle. You have the cheerleaders in the background. I mean, this is just a sick video. Because it seems so normal. Just a normal Americana atmosphere. And this is happening. He has got her in a chokehold. Screw you, man. I will see your ass in court.
That's unbelievable.
And this escalates. This escalates because we get a taser involved soon.
But he may be
There we go.
because there's a cop car over there. There's a cop car over there.
It's just crazy. That is nuts.
This is sick. Now we're tasing her.
Yeah, now he tased her.
Which apparently someone informed me that.
This lady over not wearing a damn
Or,
mask.
I'm sorry, it's in the story. The lady shooting this video says that voltage went through the metal bleachers and affected kids.
Jeez.
I mean, this is insanity, man. But this could never happen in America, am I right?
No. You can't be arrested.
Is Ohio part of China? Is that like Ohio province, China?
It was, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Look at this.
And he's dragging her now out of the stadium. down the stands.
I mean, look at that. There's a big white guy carrying a tiny black woman. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That would be a different story.
Where's your mask?
Right.
Remember, we're back together now, right, guys?
Ah, we're in it together, right, guys? I love that chick.
She's a little feisty.
Oh, here comes another.
Now watch this.
And
Watch this
another
cop.
Right there.
Now she shows up and she goes,
That's
"Oh
bull-
crap! I better put my mask on because cameras are rolling. Where was your mask to begin with, lady?"
Yeah, you can't arrest somebody for not wearing a mask.
Oh, well, welcome to America.
Well, apparently you can, and they just did. Wow, that is unbelievable.
Yep, and apparently she was
Really
released.
unbelievable.
I don't believe she was charged. She was just made an example of. You will comply.
She was just humiliated in front of her children.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's fine.
I mean,
That's
we
fine.
are scarring our children on so many levels.
She didn't do any time. Relax. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
She's just tased at least once, possibly multiple times, but I think just once.
Yeah.
And then handcuffed and then dragged out of the stands.
Because
she didn't have a mask on.
Outside.
Yeah.
Outdoors.
And there's nobody around her but people she's familiar with, obviously. People who she came to the place with. And everybody else is nicely social distanced.
And not helping her at all.
Oh.
I would like to point
except for
out.
the woman who's taping it, who's recording it. And she's making a little bit of an issue out of it by saying you can't do that to.
There are a dozen or so other Americans right there.
Yeah, I know.
That should have stood up because you surround that situation with all like-minded people on that side of the stands.
Mm-hmm.
She's not getting dragged away. She's not getting dragged away. You're drag all of us away.
I'd like to see how long the cop was actually there before he started trying to tie up her arms. Was it really 2 seconds? Because that's all we see is about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, and he's on her. Unbelievable. Just really unbelievable. Things you never thought you'd see 6 months ago.
You better stand up, America.
Yeah, it's time. It's time now. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. A couple other facts we are finding out about the woman who was tased, handcuffed, and dragged out of the stadium watching her 7th grade son's football game for not wearing a mask. According to the woman who recorded the whole thing, she also had not been warned at all for not wearing a mask prior to the officer approaching her. So it apparently went down just the way we saw it. He just walks up and starts grabbing at her. Also, she has asthma, and that's why she wasn't wearing a mask. Doesn't matter.
I got
Sorry,
news
we're
for
taking you in anyway.
We're all asthmatics now.
Yep. It's just unbelievable. Really, really unbelievable.
Truly.
Let's see. We got some tweets here from Munch. It's another hands down. It's another hands up, don't shoot scenario. Facts do not matter. Yeah, we were talking about the fact that in none of these cases are the circumstances considered. None of them. The Breonna Taylor, not the Jacob Blake situation. I mean, there are extenuating circumstances where what did you want the cops to do? What did you want them to do? Unbelievable. From B to Bodine, Trump should have answered the peaceful transition question the way the man answered Hank Johnson. We don't anticipate that happening because we don't anticipate losing.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, it would be good.
Just let it go. Yeah.
Better than the way he did handle it, which wasn't helpful in my mind. Look, the Democrats, they are building their conspiracy theory that he's not going to leave office right now, right?
Yeah, look at the banner on CNN right now.
Trump refuses to commit to peaceful transfer of power if he loses.
Ta-da!
Right. And so they're making this out to be, you're going to have the Navy SEALs. The SEAL Team 6 is going to have to show up at the White House. Black Hawk helicopters are going to have to put down in the Rose Garden. That's what's going to happen. Shut up. I mean, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah,
You're talking about bringing in the military to remove Trump from office.
Don't feed their narrative whatsoever.
So I wish you wouldn't do that, but Putin on the Roots tweets, here in Lewis and Clark County, which, by the way, is home to the mean streets of Helena, Montana.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. It's it's home to the mean streets of Helena and only 35 active cases of the virus. I mean, it's a town of 30,000. They have decided that all ballots will be mailed out. No voting in person. Our county commissioners belong in California. Yeah. Helena's always been kind of liberal because it's the seat of government. And when you have government and government employees, you got liberalism.
I mean, the population of Lewis and Clark County is 70,000.
Yes, if you include the greater Helena area. Yes.
So, I mean, 35 cases out of 70,000 people. Everyone stay at home. We got to mail in ballots.
It's asinine. It's asinine. I am going to the ballot, and I'm going to place my vote into the box myself, or at least enter it into the computer or whatever they have there.
You are old school, man.
I am.
So you're going to your polling place
in
your
going
neighborhood.
to my polling place in my neighborhood, or maybe anywhere in the county because I think I'm going to vote early.
Okay.
And I'm going to place it in the ballot myself with my own hand to make sure it gets there. Yeah.
They going to let you do that?
Yes. Or they're going to have to drag me out, tase me, put their knee on my neck and my hands behind my back and
I just
drag me out of
something.
there handcuffed.
Okay. I may have to have camera rolling. Are they going to have me vote? How about this for irony? And exercise my freedom, my constitutional right, in a mask. Are they going to require me to wear a mask? Oh, the irony.
I bet they will, yeah.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I bet they will. I mean, you have to wear a mask wherever you go pretty much right now.
Government building? Yeah, I bet so.
Government buildings and private businesses, and everybody's complying and everybody's giving in, and including me, because I don't want people to freak out over it.
Greg Abbott, I'll be tagging you in something soon. Oh,
he's really caved into this thing. I don't know what happened to him. It's strange.
I'm over that guy.
He was good at the beginning of this.
Yeah, well, so what is it like? A true test of character is when you're under pressure and back up against the wall.
Yep.
Here we are.
And his true colors shining through.
Oh, do we have the video of Kristi Noem though in South Dakota? Did I send that in? I don't know that I did. Shoot, no, I didn't. Okay. Somebody tagged me in a video of her just out pheasant hunting yesterday. She's tough.
Yeah, she's great.
She's going to be a good president one day.
Let's see. We got this from Fancy Kale Chef. Biden's team set that interview up. Set it up that way to prove you wrong.
About the
teleprompter.
I don't know.
Possible? I don't know. Let's see it again. Let's see what he's... Because it is strange how they... sent out just a little piece of it.
Telemundo viewers, we're interested in asking you questions, and I think it'd be great. Telemundo.
Sure, be happy to
address you and ask some of the first questions. And
look at here.
One. Yeah.
Maria. Telemundo.
Mr. Biden, you and Obama are responsible for a record-breaking number of immigrants being deported. How can you guarantee us that this will not continue happening in our communities?
It took much too long to get it right. That's the fact.
She's not there.
Period. Number one.
She's not there.
He's talking to this recording. That's just great. That is so perfect. That is quintessential Biden right there.
Yeah, but what was somebody else tweeted? Did you say the green screen thing yet? Did you say that?
No.
Yeah, read that tweet. So this guy thinks it was a green screen. That's why we were playing the video.
Tom Perkins says, I still think you guys are right about Joe and the monitor. The video of the woman asking a question appears to be projected on the monitor.
Yeah.
Similar to green screen technology rather than being displayed on the monitor.
I don't know. Rob
Joe's not seeing her at all. Maybe.
I don't know. Rob had that picture yesterday that showed that monitor that had a it was just a black screen. It wasn't a green screen. But I like the thought.
I do too.
Let's go with it. Yeah, green screen.
Definitely. It was definitely green screen.
Either way, he's
out to lunch.
Clueless.
He's completely out to lunch.
Yeah.
I love also how the media right now is applauding his faith. He's standing up for his faith. He's a real strong Catholic. He really believes in the things he believes in. On the other hand, anytime Amy Coney Barrett's faith comes up, she is dangerous. She shouldn't be bringing this to her, this kind of ideology, this sort of religiosity to what she does for a living. This is wrong. They're the same faith, by the way. They are both Catholics. Of course, there's absolutely nothing strange about that because Biden doesn't follow his Catholic faith when it comes to abortion. Amy Coney Barrett does. So because she's a real Catholic, not a cafeteria one, picking and choosing what she believes in and what she's going to follow, they hate her. They hate her guts. You must bow at the altar of abortion with this Democrat death cult, or, sorry, you can't be a part of our society anymore. I mean, that's what they would like to get you out of our civilization if you believe in the right to life. And it is despicable. If you are a devout Catholic, meaning that you believe all the tenets of your religion, there's just no place for you. I'm sorry, you can't be a Supreme Court justice. There's no place for you now. It's unbelievable. And it's despicable. And it's un-American, as so many of these things are lately. All right. 888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Just for fun, we've got to play this press conference from Nancy Pelosi yesterday.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
She's talking about, I don't even know what, because that's not the point. The point is Jerry Nadler is standing by, but not for long. Here's what happened. Watch this. So there's Jerry.
Work on this subject. Not part of this package.
What's going on, Jerry?
Whoa, hey.
He's waddling out. What's going on there?
Baby steps. Baby steps.
What are you doing? What is... He pooped his pants. Everybody believes he's walking that way.
Not a question.
Because he pooped his pants.
You pooped in your pants.
I pooped my pants.
You pooped in your pants.
Look at this.
I pooped my pants.
I'm just gonna...
Jerry, you pooped in your pants.
I mean, he's just...
I pooped my pants. Why else would you walk like that? Why else are you...
Do your knees not work anymore, Jer? What is happening, man? That was... And by the way, it was very important because she's talking about impeaching the president. He's talking about packing the court. He's got to unpack something.
And then he packs his pants.
He packs his pants. I knew there was a joke there. Oh, my goodness.
He's talking about packing the court, and instead he packs his pants. That's frightening.
Oh,
just frightening.
You pooped in your pants.
I pooped my pants.
And Daniel, one of the producers on the program, he has an assignment today. It's his job to call Jerry Nadler's office in D.C. to ask what that premature...
What the deal was.
What was that premature exit about yesterday at the old press conference?
Yeah, and why was he walking that way?
Yeah,
why didn't he just walk out if he had to, if he had to go or whatever?
Yeah, Daniel, you writing these down?
He's got a really important meeting. Why didn't he just walk out?
Why did he leave early?
Mm-hmm.
Why was he walking in what appeared to be a very pained manner? And why doesn't he plan ahead and carry a little duffel bag with him next time?
That is nasty. Because that's what happened. There's no other reason for him to walk out that way. Show it again. I mean, look at this exit. This is really, really strange.
On this subject, not part of this
Gotta
package.
go. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Gotta win.
Okay. I'm gonna...
Democracy.
Nobody look at me. I'm just gonna waddle out.
Tighten that Zoom camera, guy. I gotta get out of this room.
That's unbelievable.
All right, we'll tweet that out at Pat Unleashed. Be looking for that because it is fun.
That is unbelievable. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Right, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
He deserves it. That's nasty.
Oh, it is nasty. It is.
Oh, it's time
And
to hang it up, Jerry.
Probably a bad person for reveling in that, but I just don't care right now. I just don't care.
Why does that make you a bad person?
Because I should have compassion for an older guy who just pooped his pants.
And is trying to steal away your God-given right of freedom?
Yeah.
Does that bring you back home? Are you back with us now? That was good to laugh at that. Jerry Nadler. Ugh.
He's just a douchebag. I mean, he's not a good guy. And it's a lot like Harry Reid.
He's apparently no longer full of it.
His pants are. His pants are full of it. Unbelievable. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Let me tell you about Omega XL. If you have inflammation, there's a really good chance that it is messing with your joints, causing damage there. Over the long run, you want to get rid of the inflammation, and that's where Omega XL comes in. Omega XL is backed by 35 years of clinical research. It goes right to the inflammation, and it actually has an off switch that turns it off. Now, pain relievers, topical rubs, just mask the problem. Sometimes they don't even do that. But Omega XL neutralizes the inflammation that causes that painful, stiff joints and muscles. It's great. Plus, these are just little tiny gel caps. Really easy to take. They won't mess up your day. And they won't cause you that really nasty fish aftertaste that you get all day with some of these kinds of pills. So to get you started, order one bottle of Omega XL now, and you'll get a second bottle for free. Visit OmegaXL.com/Pat, OmegaXL.com/Pat, or call 800-844-4888. Some tweets here from Kurt. From Kurt. And all the sheep in the stands just watching, the poor woman who gets dragged out because she's not wearing a mask. Just watching her get dragged away, not saying anything. My scorn is dripping for these contemptible weaklings.
Thank you.
Where are the men?
Where are the men in this country? Where are the men in this world? What the hell have we become?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good question. One of the men was sitting right behind her and doing nothing, just sitting there with his arms crossed.
Yep.
I got my mask on. I'm glad it's not me. I got my mask on. He doesn't say a word about it.
What was he doing? I mean,
glad you're getting her out of here. She's scaring the hell out of me. I'm scared of her without her mask on.
Even though I'm not downwind and I'm 20 feet away.
Right, and I'm wearing my own mask. Yeah. But I'm scared. I'm scared of her. Tricia Sanders tweets, "We're all asthmatics now."
Yeah, that's
my
right.
new moniker.
Yeah, I just tweeted that out. Make it stick, y'all.
Fantastic. Larky Farkin, can you even constitutionally refuse to open polling stations? Lewis and Clark County is apparently doing that, which is the county Helena is in. And they've decided they're not doing any in-person polling.
Yeah, according to Putin on a Ritz.
That's a good question. Can you even do that?
Whatever
I don't know.
Disenfranchisement as the claim, right?
Right. Oppressing the vote. Wait, I can't go to a polling place and place my vote and just stick it in the little slot there? Please. Come on. Unbelievable. Tobin for Pope tweets about the Biden controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Biden was a victim of CGI.
I love it.
Very possible. All right. 888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Donnie Douche.
I don't know.
Is that his name?
I don't know that that's his
Is that
name.
how you pronounce that? Donnie Douche?
It is. I can't confirm, but I don't think so.
Donnie. Oh, I'm being told it's Donnie Deutsch.
Don't correct him in the other room.
Spewing more. I mean, the hateful, crazy bullcrap that has come from this guy lately is despicable. He says there's no difference between Trump and Hitler. Isn't that wonderful? I thought that was verboten. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you weren't supposed to say anything about comparing people to Hitler, like that was off limits. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where is the Jewish Defamation League on this? Because anytime Glenn ever said anything about Nazis or Hitler, they came down on him. How dare you? How dare you bring that up? Well, I mean, I thought we were supposed to remember it so that we wouldn't repeat it. Never forget. That meant something to us, but guess I was wrong on that. Yeah. Anyway, Donnie Douche. I'm sorry, Deutsch. Again,
you're getting this hang up.
Dang it.
I mean, should I write it out phonetically for you?
Maybe that would help. Yeah, like Donnie Dutch Boy or something like that. Something close.
Okay.
To Douche, whatever it is, Deutsch. What is the difference between Adolf Hitler and Donald Trump? He asked during an interview on MSNBC's Morning Cup of Postum with Joe and his main squeeze. I'm not saying there's a Holocaust, but when you look at the tactics, this is where we are right now. Jeez. How dare you, he exclaimed. How dare you with what our people have gone through. I guess, is Donnie Douche Jewish? Interesting. That's interesting. Is there a number of people who can call about that?
Yeah, it's right there.
With what our people have gone through in history, and you see a man who is a dictator. Donald Trump? Yeah, the guy who won't dictate or mandate a national mask wearing situation for the United States of America, that dictator, where he's letting states decide how they handle their own situation with their virus. That guy that is the dictator. Oh, okay. This is amazing. And once you give a man absolute power, he is possible of anything. What? He is possible of anything? Does that even make sense? Okay. If you're a Jew in this country and you're supporting Donald Trump, you are not looking back at our history. And you are blind and you're walking like a lemming off a cliff. It's time to wake up. I'm sorry. There is no difference from what Donald Trump is preaching from what Adolf Hitler preached in the early 30s.
Oh, yeah. I remember all those peace deals Adolf Hitler signed with Israel.
Yeah.
I remember those days. Come off it, man. Shut up. You were right originally when you pronounced his name Donnie Douche. Yeah, you had
Donnie Douche.
You had it right.
Yeah.
God. That's
ridiculous.
That's a guy who is staining the memory of Jews that died in the Holocaust right there.
Absolutely. Despicable. I mean, and again, where's the the Anti-Defamation League? Why are they not yelling and screaming about this? Well, because it's a partisan group. That's why. They don't do this with progressives. If you're a progressive, you can say whatever you want about Hitler, the Nazis. It's perfectly fine. You can reference him all you want. You can compare anybody on the right to Adolf Hitler you want, and you're fine. You're excused. It's unbelievable.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Okay. All right.
Good times.
Yeah, good times. Mm-hmm. Wow. We're like Kawasaki right now. We're letting the good times roll. We really are. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We got the people who are shouting questions at President Obama yesterday. Which didn't used to be acceptable.
At President who?
I mean, at President Trump yesterday. It wasn't acceptable with Obama.
Right. That's a good point.
When people were shouting things at Obama as he was walking off, remember how disrespectful that was?
Yeah.
What are you doing that because he's a black man, right?
Right.
And you have no respect for him, right? But check this out. It's perfectly okay with Trump, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Leave for an emergency phone call.
He has to leave. He has to leave early.
Larry, finish up. Larry's going to talk about.
Breonna Taylor, if I
can. I'll be back. I will see you tomorrow.
Mr. President,
he's trying to talk. Shut up.
We're at a time right now where Americans feel like we are on this carousel.
I have a big
Mr.
call.
President, people are protesting in the streets. What is your message to them? People feel like we are on this carousel where another black life is being taken.
So here we have Dr. Scott Atlas.
Wow. Okay, you want to hear my message to people in the streets? Get out of the streets and go home. And stop the rioting. And stop the looting. And stop the violence. If you want to protest quietly on a street corner, peacefully somewhere, and you've got a permit, go ahead. Mm-hmm. But for these out-of-control riots and the Antifa and Black Lives Matter douchebags who are completely out of control, I got to tell, you got to stop.
By the way,
that's my message.
David
Stop.
Gregory, when the camera pans over, did you notice? He's like, oh, got to put the mask on. Here comes the camera.
Unbelievable. The hypocrisy. Unreal.
Pat Gray's Radio Network.
Another mistake to call out. Keith just said David Gregory quickly put on his mask as the camera panned around at the White House press conference yesterday.
Oh, did I mess up?
It was John Roberts from Fox News.
That's right.
Dumbass. Get out.
That's just
You look like an idiot.
Yeah, you are an idiot.
Wow.
Get out.
Wait,
you might as well just leave now.
You
might
said
as well
that
just
like
go
2 or 3
home.
times now. You're telling me to leave the room?
Get out.
So I can go home now early?
Get out.
I mean...
No, I'm going to punish you. No, you can't leave, actually.
Oh.
Actually, you got to stay.
Oh. I thought I was going to go home early.
Yeah.
So my bad, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the virtue signaling. Oh, here comes the camera. Put the mask back on.
Right. But it's a Fox News guy, so it's okay.
He thought he was still working at CNN.
Yeah. All right. Krista tweets, have you guys noticed that Joe has developed a cough right before the debate? Lots of people think he's going to come down with COVID-19 before Tuesday. I mean, he's running out of time. It's Thursday now. It's got to happen. If that's going to transpire, has to do so soon.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd Lawson Barber / philosopher tweets, Nadler obviously had Chinese buffet before this event.
Oh, gosh. No.
You pooped in your pants.
I pooped my pants.
Let's see that one more time.
Yeah, we got to see this.
Let's see him scooting out of the Pelosi press conference. Oh, boy. Oh, golly.
There it is. Okay, now what do I do?
Oh.
Hold on.
That is not how he walks all the time, right?
No.
We know that.
Yeah, can we start that from the beginning? Because I think he has this moment where he's just like, oh, no.
Yep, right there.
No.
Oh, golly.
What do I do? I got to keep moving this way. Here we go.
Oh, boy. I'm just going to carefully.
All right, let's tighten that shot again.
So weird. Really weird. If he didn't poop his pants, what is that? What's he doing there? What is he doing?
I can only see one of 2 possibilities. Either he did poop his pants.
Yes.
Or both knees stopped working at the same time.
And that's possible. I mean, he's...
Which is,
90 or whatever. All right. Also from Lone Wolf. Don't those Montana communities need to be canceled now? St. Fauci of DCC declared it would be safe to vote in person, and you're not allowed to act against what he says. Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Fauci has said both sides of just about everything since this began.
Yeah.
Speaking of St. Fauci of DCC, he was being grilled yesterday by the Senate, and Rand Paul had some things to talk to him about.
Do you have any second thoughts about your mitigation recommendations, considering the evidence that despite all of the things we've done in the U.S., our death rate is essentially worse than Sweden, equivalent to the less developed world that is unable to do any of the things that you've been promoting? Do you have any second thoughts? Are you willing to look at the data that countries that did very little actually have a lower death rate than the United States?
You know, Senator, I'd be happy at a different time to sit down and go over detail. You've said a lot of different things. You've compared us to Sweden, and there are a lot of differences. And you said, well, there are a lot of differences between Sweden, but compare Sweden's death rate to other comparable Scandinavian countries. It's worse. So I don't think it's appropriate to compare Sweden with us. Yes.
Why?
We have... I think in the beginning, we've done things based on the knowledge we had at the time. And hopefully, and I am, and my colleagues are humble enough and modest enough to realize that as new data comes, you make different recommendations. But I don't regret saying that the only way we could have really stopped the explosion of infection was by essentially, I want to say shutting down. I mean, essentially having the physical separation and the kinds of recommendations that we've made.
You've been a big fan of Cuomo and the shutdown in New York. You've lauded New York for their policy. New York had the highest death rate in the world. How could we possibly be jumping up and down and saying, oh, Governor Cuomo did a great job? He had the worst death rate in the world.
No, you misconstrued that, Senator, and you've done that repetitively in the past. They got hit very badly. They've made some mistakes. Right now, if you look at what's going on right now, the things that are going on in New York to get their test positivity 1% or less is because they are looking at the guidelines that we have put together from the task force of the 4 or 5 things of masks, social distancing, outdoors more than indoors, avoiding crowds, and washing hands.
Or they've developed enough community immunity that they're no longer having the pandemic because they have enough immunity in New York City to actually stop.
I challenge that, Senator, because I want to, please, sir, I would like to be able to do this because this happens with Senator Rand all the time. You were not listening to what the director of the CDC said, that in New York, it's about 22%. If you believe 22% is herd immunity, I believe you're alone in that.
But wait, what were they?
So, he's still kind of praising what they're doing. He's still saying they're doing a good job. He's saying right now they're doing a really good job. Well, they have the highest death rate in the world. And he praised them months ago. It wasn't now when the rate is lower. It was before. It was a long time ago when did he say this?
I don't know, but he finally did admit. He said, okay, well, they made some mistakes there. Yeah, but on July 17th is what you have in front of you.
July 17th, he said this about New York.
Remembering, we can do it. We know that when you do it properly, you bring down those cases. We've done it. We've done it in New York. New York got hit worse than any place in the world.
Yeah,
and they did it correctly.
They did it correctly?
Worse than any place in the world, and they did it correctly?
But he did just say to Rand Paul, they made mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bizarre.
literally, okay, this isn't hyperbole. That man has taken a stance on every side
both sides.
Every issue.
Yes, he has.
Including his own analysis of New York doing it great and New York making mistakes.
Yes, he has. And congratulations. That's our guy.
And that's the man.
That's the guy we got to listen to.
Worships.
Oh my gosh, they love
him. That's not hyperbole either.
I mean, they're wearing T-shirts with Fauci on it.
Remember the person? There was a picture of it in their window. They had like candles lit and stuff, or what it was like. It was like some.
There was like an altar to Fauci.
Thank you, a Fauci altar. What in the world?
I don't know. I've never understood it. 888-900-3393. All right. Let me tell you about Gabby Insurance. When you've had the same car insurance or homeowners insurance for years, you kind of get trapped into paying your premiums, and you just don't think about it really. That makes it easy, really easy, to overpay and not even realize that you're overpaying. That's why you should check with Gabby. Stop overpaying for car and homeowners insurance. See about getting a lower rate for the exact same coverage you already have, thanks to Gabby. Go to Gabby.com/unleashed, and all you have to do is upload your insurance, your current policy, so that they can compare apples to apples. And so they'll see what you have and find you a lower rate, and they'll do, they got the top 40 insurance providers like Progressive and Nationwide, Travelers, and they'll check it out for you. They'll find out all the information, and then they'll give you the lower rate, or they'll tell you that, no, you're already paying the lowest rate, so you've got that peace of mind. Gabby customers save about an average of $825 a year. So if they can't find you savings like they did for me, As I said, they'll just let you know that, and you can relax knowing you're paying the lowest rate. And they never sell your info, so you're not going to get annoying spam or robocalls. It's totally free to check out your rate, and there's no obligation either. You don't have to do this, but if they find you a lower rate, you certainly can do it. Take a few minutes right now. Stop overpaying on your car and homeowners insurance. Go to Gabi.com/unleashed. That's GABI.com/unleashed. Gabi.com/unleashed.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
By the way, the New York Times, which came up with the 1619 Project, gosh, way back. I mean, this was, this kind of information goes back an entire year. How old were you last year? I mean, I was so young I can't even remember what happened.
I'm not good at math.
No.
Subtract 1, over my head. I'm sorry.
So they've been working on this, 1619 Project for a while. It involved America. It's a major initiative from the New York Times observing the 400th anniversary of the beginning of American slavery. Last year was that 400th anniversary. And it aimed to reframe the country's history, understanding 1619 as our true founding, and placing the consequences of slavery and the contributions of black Americans at the center of the story we tell ourselves about who we are. Okay, so it's just rearranging, reordering, redoing American history. They've changed that now. They've dropped some of the key tenets of what they're teaching our kids in school already. The new revised text now reads, the 1619 Project is an ongoing initiative from the New York Times Magazine that began in August 2019, the 400th anniversary of the beginning of American slavery, not the beginning of America. It aims to reframe the country's history by placing the consequences of slavery and the contributions of black Americans at the very center of our national narrative. A similar change was made from the print version of the 1619 Project, which has been sent out to millions of school kids in all 50 states. The original version read, in August of 1619, a ship appeared on this horizon near Point Comfort, a coastal port in the British colony of Virginia. It carried more than 20 enslaved Africans who were sold to the colonists. America was not yet America, but this was the moment it began. No aspect of the country that would be formed here has been untouched by the 250 years of slavery that followed. Now, the website version has deleted that key claim, and it now says, in August of 1619, a ship appeared on the horizon near Point Comfort, a coastal port in the English colony of Virginia. It carried more than 20 enslaved Africans who were sold to the colonists. No aspect of the country would be formed here has been untouched by the years of slavery that followed. So they've really taken out some of the really important parts of what they were trying to sell our kids. And I don't know if this is being revised in the actual schools or not. But what's wonderful about this project is that the Chinese communists have picked it up and are promoting the 1619 Project now, too. The state-run media, the Chinese state-run media outlet, China Global Television Network, is promoting the far-left revisionist history, known as the 1619 Project, affirming the group's narratives, such as how 1619 should actually be seen as America's year of birth. That's great. Thank you, New York Times. You've given the commies some great anti-American propaganda. Really appreciate that. That's great news. Appearing in China Global Television Networks, an outlet which serves as a mouthpiece for the Chinese Communist Party, the op-ed Barr and Trump try to rewrite slave history but fail in reality. Also contains several digs at President Trump and U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr. The nearly 800-word piece hypes the findings of the 1619 Project, a New York Times affiliated initiative with social justice narratives. Its central thesis is that America's birth year is 1619, and the Chinese are only too happy to push that narrative. It's essentially treasonous what's going on here. The New York Times cooperating with all of these initiatives, all of this anti-American propaganda. I mean, how does that happen? How do you get to a point where that happens? New York Times is supposed to be the paper of record. And these are not facts. These are impressions of certain people that they now print and just accept as fact, just accept as history. Wow. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. The Democrats kicking and screaming right now because they realize they can't stop the Supreme Court nomination, which is why they're throwing such a tizzy fit over this. They can kick and scream and threaten all they want, but they can't stop it. And it's just a matter of, will the Republicans actually go forward with the nomination, with the confirmation process? I mean, the president's already announced that day after tomorrow, Saturday at 5 o'clock, I think it was, 5 o'clock on Saturday, he's going to announce his pick. Who do you think it's going to be? I'm starting to worry that it's not Amy Coney Barrett.
Oh, really? Why? What are you basing?
I don't know. They're talking about this Lagoa woman, this other justice.
Is this the Florida Hispanic lady? Or
I think so. Yeah.
I had a print up of all the possibilities here.
And he's actually said it will be a woman, so we got that going for us. And I don't know. Is a woman the best choice? I don't know. Is a woman a better choice than Mike Lee or Ted Cruz? I guess you can't replace a woman with a man now. That's just not done. You just can't do it. Right?
Yeah.
If RBG dies, you can't say, well, a man is going to fill that seat now, because they'd go nuts. There'd probably be rioting in the streets over that, too.
I wonder who, because Biden isn't telling us who would be on his short list. He won't. He's so excited to fill this seat if he wins the presidency. It would be awesome if he would tell us who would be on a Biden short list.
And he won't.
Right?
He will absolutely not.
And I looked it up. If he wanted to put Stacey Abrams, God forbid, in that spot, I looked it up. I said, I wonder if she's had any background. Yeah, she was a tax attorney for like 5 minutes.
No, that perfectly qualifies her for the U.S. Supreme Court.
I mean, why even have a nomination process? Why even go through the subcommittee? Just put her through.
Because he did say this.
As everyone knows, I made it clear that my first choice for the Supreme Court will make history as the first African-American woman justice.
Okay. So that could include Stacey Abrams.
Exactly. Yeah, and would also make history because it'd be the first unemployed individual who was nominated to the Supreme Court, Stacey Abrams.
Is she still unemployed?
Sure.
Yeah.
What is she doing? She's making the rounds.
I don't know.
She's waiting for a government job.
She's claiming to be the governor of Georgia, wherever she goes. That's what she's doing. He also said this about packing the court.
It's a legitimate question, but let me tell you, I'm not going to answer that question because it will shift all the focus. That's what he wants. He never wants to talk about the issue at hand. He always tries to change the subject. Well, let's say I answered that question.
Okay.
Then the whole debate's going to be, well, Biden said or didn't say. Biden said he would or wouldn't. That's going to, the discussion should be about why he is moving in a direction that's totally inconsistent with what the founders wanted. They're designed, the Constitution says the voters get to pick the president who gets to make the pick and the Senate who gets to decide.
So that already happened.
We're in the middle of an election right now. People are voting now. By the time this Supreme Court hearing would be held, if they hold one, would in fact, there's estimated 30 to 40% of the American people already have voted. It is a fundamental breach of constitutional principle.
I'm sorry, he is the president. He was elected by the people. So the people did elect him president, and now here he is making a nomination, and then the Senate will confirm. That seems to be the process you just said he wasn't abiding by.
And this man, Joe Biden, wants to be president, wants to nominate the next justice to fill Ginsburg's seat, yet he can't tell us who he would put in that seat?
Crazy.
Tells you everything.
Absolutely crazy. All right. 888-900-3393. Can you drag the wheel of
you
cancel?
want the wheel of cancel?
Closer to you, and we can do the wheel.
New improved.
Oh! Cancel!
Okay. Let's see here. Can you see
There it is.
that?
All right. And thank you again to, who was it that sent this to us?
Good. Okay. Ready?
Yes. Look how well that spins now.
I mean, it is.
That is a big-time wheel of cancel. And we're looking for story number 2.
Jerry Nadler?
It is time to cancel your lawn.
Cancel my lawn? What
Your lawn.
Help us. What now? What?
When most people think of lawns, Keith, they picture carefree kids playing in backyards, picnics, in well-kept parks. Perhaps they even feel a sense of pride at how green and immaculate their own swath of lawn is. Well, you know what that's about.
What now, man?
Colonialism. It's about colonialism.
Okay.
So, you bastard. Do you have a lawn, I suppose?
I have a lawn, and
Yeah.
I take care of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The traditional lawn, manicured, verdant, under control, now finds itself at the confluence of two hot-button issues: climate change and indigenous rights. Some environmentalists, First Nation leaders, and even hobby gardeners are calling for a different approach to how we view and treat the ubiquitous urban green space.
Oh, no.
It is, they argue, a lasting symbol of how settlers appropriated indigenous land and culture.
Oh, I cannot.
And the rigid Western ideal we've imposed continues to hurt the planet, and in turn all of us. The lawn, some say, needs to be decolonized. What is a lawn but a statement of control over nature?
No, make it stop.
That's the question asked by John Douglas Belshaw, Canadian history professor at Thompson Rivers University.
Oh, get my kid out of there.
That's a part of the settler culture.
Okay.
You see that river there? We can dam it. We can organize that water. We can make that water work for us. It's essentially the same mindset. I can reorganize the landscape, flatten it, plant lawn. Find a non-indigenous species of plant, of grass, and completely extract anything that's not homogeneous.
Please stop.
That doesn't fit with this pattern, this green pattern, and control it. A backyard with a big lawn is like a classroom for colonialism and environmental hostility.
I can't take it.
It's a world gone absolutely mad. Absolutely mad.
Decolonize your lawn.
Jeez.
Oh.
All right. Spin the wheel.
Oh, really?
Cancel. One more time, very quickly. Nope. All right.
Oh, wait.
No.
Story 3.
It is also time to cancel the 1950s TV shows.
What now?
Like Andy Griffith. No. Because in today's newspaper entertainment section, this was a few days ago, there was a suggestion that people watch reruns of The Waltons to return to a quieter, gentler time, if only it were true. As with reruns of the Andy Griffith Show, it's all fantasy. Apparently, the Jim Crow laws not only kept black and brown people in their place, but also rendered them invisible. And that's what shows like The Waltons and the Andy Griffith Show promote.
I can't take it.
Time to cancel them. See you tomorrow for more Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.